Like sharing on. Okay, I got share party audio. Everything should be good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, go ahead and do the intro, JB.
All right, welcome everybody. We are here for the second to last round of the Formula One Grand Prix circuit here for the SCL. This is the Italian Grand Prix coming to you live from Monza, Italy today. Drivers are out now on the track doing their qualifying session and a little bit of a warm-up here. They have about 9.5 minutes left. Should be a good day here. We have heavy cloud forecast, so not looking too bad. These guys are out here trying to grab the elusive pole position for the Formula One Series. None of our former pole sitters for the other two races are here today, so it looks like we'll have a new pole sitter in the books for today's pole qualifying. Again, this is a 35 lap race here at Monza today, and she'll commence after the rest of this 9-minute session and drivers meeting. So welcome everybody that's watching today. We're glad to have you here on the SCL Racing Network.
And you have Carlin Hicks here, who we neglected to mention.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Carlin.
Anyway, yeah, I'm here as well. This is round 3 of 4 in the season 22 Formula One World Championship. It's been a short little campaign to open our international tour here in season 22. And with the 2-point leaders, the two winners from the first two rounds, Sir Race-A-Lot taking Monaco and Tiernizzle winning the U.S. Grand Prix at Watkins Glen a couple weeks back, hasn't been firmly established. Those two have not as of yet, and they still have about maybe 15 minutes, and they have not yet entered. So it looks like today's race, whoever does well here, and in particular I'm looking at Callie, who I believe is tied for third in points. He has a good finish here today and gets that long elusive win for him this season. He could be right back in the championship heading into the finale last week at Silverstone.
There's three drivers tied for third. Roast is another one of them.
Yeah, absolutely, and both of them run well. Smaller race fields, as we established.
So that's the most important part, is they're showing up. So they're here. They got a shot at it.
Absolutely. As I said, it's a new series. It takes time to establish it. Give it a season or two, there'll be 15, 16 cars in the field, just like every other one. Yeah, this is the first Italian Grand Prix, and I think we're in for a good show. I look to see Callie be a contender. I'm going to go ahead and hit the retire and spectate mode so I can give you guys a monitor look at how things are looking right now. Give you the map as well. Somebody's looped it in the pit lane. I'm going to try to figure out who that is. I think officials having technical issues. But with 6 minutes to go, Callie Vitals by a narrow margin over Rosta, 1.87 seconds, as we're finally on the track side for you guys here. Looks like Callie's coming back out of the pits. Rosta also back in the pits. And so fastest right now out here on a hot lap is the oddly ghosting for some reason. We've seen some of that in the qualifiers here. I think it might be something they've done to the rooms. Didn't we see that the other night, Johnny?
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a ghost there when we ran our Trans Am Series. I think some of it might be trying to stop some of the crashes that might be happening during slow speed. So I think once those people get up to full speed, it seemed like they unghosted. So that'd be still an issue with that.
I would not mind it if it was similar to qualifying in GT6, where you were on the track alone, but at the same time, maybe if that was a situation that they're working towards, I could see that being useful. But as of right now, yeah, on board here with let me pick up the name there. Petrolhead, I believe he's an Aussie driver. He's made a few starts this season across a couple of different series. He's currently 2.6 seconds off the pace, but picking up and gaining. Behind him, we've got Official back out on the track. These guys just trying to put some, obviously still haven't put together a clean lap. Official's having some kind of lag issue, it appears. I believe Roast is talking about it there in the room. He's out on the track looking to snag that pole from Cali. Either one of these two are, I would say, with the current field that's entered, these two are the current favorites in my book. They've both run very, very well in the first 2 rounds of the championship.
And they're starting to turn into SCL veterans with a lot of rookies this season. One of the rookies ended up winning our Camel GT Championship.
And the IndyCar Championship.
And the IndyCar Camel GT Championship was actually wrapped up a week early. So last night, I don't even think he showed up, did he?
No, Tierney didn't race last night.
Yep. He said, thanks for the season, guys. I'm going to run 9 races and win the championship. So a couple of rookies winning the championships. Looks like we have a very good shot at a rookie winning Winston Cup Championship, but that's still to be decided with 3 races left in that season. But all the rookies doing very well, and even the veterans are rookie this season with the new software and hardware.
Oh, absolutely, and I just think it's going to be a terrific season in season 23. Is one more under our belt with the new software, and the races have just been getting better and better. We had a fantastic Camel GT race last night at Texas. It really was. Those guys were really clean on a very difficult track. Baron von Stosch got his first career win in the Camel GT Series. As we said earlier, Friday night, Cold wrapped up the IndyCar Championship. It was Tierney who picked up his 4th IndyCar win of the season, but Cold wrapped up the IndyCar title. We have somebody turned Rosta right there. I believe that was Wanma in the Jancone mobile car. So temper's going to be flaring here early already in qualifying, as Cali has stretched that lead out. Well, with about 2 minutes here to go till the end of qualifying, and I've got to get ready to head down there and give them the drivers meeting and the get the start going. I'm going to turn it over to Johnny Benson. I'll be back with you guys once we're green to go after the beginning of the race, and I'll catch up with you guys here momentarily. Be back with you guys shortly. guys. Remember, take a snapshot of it, but please remember your starting order as well. Congratulations, Rosta. I believe that's your first career pole in the SCL here in the Formula One World Championship. Good job. All right, fellas, welcome to the Italian Grand Prix. This is round 3 of the SCL Season 22 Formula One World Championship. We have the International Tour rules in effect today, so I'm going to go over them with you briefly. Very similar to the North American Tour rules, with the exception of some of the flag procedures. So just like normal, once we get out on the track, you guys are going to run a single file pace lap. You're going to go around one time and then be able to pull into the pits and set up your pit strategy, fill your tank, put on whatever tires you want. You guys know the drill, just like in a normal race. So that first lap around, it can be a flying lap, because you're going to come out and get back into your lined up positions anyway. So if you want to go out, I mean, don't be an idiot on the broadcast and be the one spinning the car, but if you guys want to, leader wants to run a good pace going around and then slow it down heading into the pits, that's fine. You guys all make a pit stop, get your car set up. Then when you come out, you'll be, we want you running under pace speed of, I'd say, about 65, 70 miles an hour here. Now, it is a standing start, and we have to do it manually here. So you guys are going to come around, and you are going to, land as closely as possible to your spots on the grid. I'll be the official here at the start, so I'll make sure that you guys get all set. Here's the way that the standing start is going to work. When the starting official, who is me, sees the field set, I'm going to say starter, which is my first signal, and then clear. Now, when I call clear, we want the starter, in this case it's Rosta, to kick it and go within 3 to 5 seconds. It's your call what that is, Rosta. So when I say, don't do it on clear, but when I say clear, it's up to you to when to go. It's a maximum of 5 seconds. So basically I say clear, Rosta can't decide ahead of time whether you're going on 3, 4, or 5 and count in your head 1, 2, 3, 4, and then whichever one you're going on. Everyone else can go as soon as you launch. So it's in your hands. When I call starter, that means you guys need to be holding. When I call clear, that means it's in Rosta's hands. He's gonna go in 3 to 5 seconds. As soon as you guys see his wheels move, you can go with him. Now the caution procedures and all that in the International Tour is different from the North American Tour races. It's going to work on what's called a clean start rule, and that means that you guys are going to go off on that standing start. If we have a big pile up right at the beginning, or we have a bad accident in the first lap, we will call a red flag, and we will come back around and do a restart. We will do that restart one time. The second time that we have to do the launch, that's it. It's going to be green to the finish. The only thing that can stop the race at that point is a red flag, which would be, something major happening in the race, like, 3/4 of the field disconnects at the same time, or something technical related. But you guys will be green to go at that point. So let's just get a clean first start. Either way, on that first start, once the leader's taken one full lap, then it's green. Then it's green to go no matter what. There will be no more restart. So keep all that in mind. That's the gist of it. The race is set for 37 laps. That's 35 plus the 2 laps to get us started at the beginning. I believe that just about covers it. Be clean out there, guys. Take it easy, especially through the fast corners like Parabolica. Just no dive bombing. This is a pro league. We expect you to race like pros. Don't go diving in on people. It's a long track. It's in a long race. Set up your passes. You've got 2 officials in the booth broadcasting the race. So we got our eyes on you. Most experience in the series and with microphones are Rosta and Callie, so you guys are deputized as race marshals if you need to give out any pertinent instructions to normal procedure to any of the drivers while we're in the booth. Under green, you can do so. There's really not much to it here, obviously, because there's no yellow flags to call. It's just if, somebody asks something about they see somebody cut a corner or something, just take note of it for us. We might not have caught it. Any other technical things here? There is no pit road speed limit. If you have to pit, you guys can go full speed down the pit row. And obviously getting in and out of your pit box, just don't go ghosting through other cars. I'm going to take a look here real quick at the... make sure I got everything set up here, right? Yeah, you guys have any questions? Any questions for us before we get rolling here? Yeah, we turned all that off for this race 1. Went back, went to our normal rules. Just like the North American Tour races, you can fly down pit row. The penalty stuff is off. It's going to be the marshals and the guys in the booth job to catch it. You guys are, using the track limit. Officials saying he lagged out. I don't want to have any room trouble here. I don't want to have to stop against. We'll see if when we get started here, if official is in the room. If he's not, then he has qualified for the race. Then we'll do what we have to do and get him back in. But we got any questions from anybody? Runway cord, petrol, official, some of the newer drivers. Everything's good. Juanma, you got anything? Alright guys, I'm going to turn you loose. You're going to be doing your pace lap around. I'm going to make sure official gets going here. So good luck in the Italian Grand Prix. We're glad to have you guys on board. I'm going to invite him back in. He can get right back in here, and he should be fine. Yeah, we might. You guys, don't sweat it, guys. Official's got the mute sign on him. That's part of his problem. Yeah, you guys go ahead and get your pit strategy set up, get readied up. I'll get to turn you loose here in a second. We may have to return to the box to get him going. Alright, in fact, that's what I think I'm going to wind up having you guys do. Everybody's readied up. I'm going to have you guys, I'm going to turns you loose there. Just hit your option. Retire to the pit box. Hang tight there, official. We're going to try to get you back in here. You guys know where you're starting at. All right, you got ears on us, official? Okay, you're good. All right, I'm just gonna have to turn off the qualifying now, and all this jazz. You guys know where you're starting at. Go ahead and give me the thumbs up when you guys are all ready and set to go. You are not obligated to do that, Wanma, because the marshals did not catch you. If you self-reported it, then you can choose to. As it stands, you're qualified in 5th. But if you choose to report yourself for something that we didn't catch, that's your prerogative too. All right. Roasta, fresh white tea. You got ears. You ready to go? Yep. All right, everybody's good. I'm going to turn you loose here. As I said, you're going to roll around here on the parade lap, and make sure you go around one time before you head into the pits. If you head into the pits before the race starts, that'll disqualify you. But it's going to give you a couple minutes here to set up your strategy. I'm going to be with you down here until the start, and then I'm heading back up in the booth. Once you guys get clear of that clean start, I'll cut you loose, and then you're on your own, unless we see some reason to red flag it. Like I said, good luck, guys. It's a smaller field than usual because it's a new series, but that's why we ask you, run it out, finish the race, score some points if you finish. The top 2 in points not here, anything will get you in contention, and any points will get you the provisionals to start next season, when there will almost certainly be more drivers. The International Tour is getting has its own website with now and everything, so you guys are here on the ground floor. And make sure you got your pit strategy and everything set up the way you wanted. Roast is on the pole. Yeah, Juan, I did them last night, I think. They should be updated. I could double check it, but yeah, they are updated as of now. I'm not looking at it, but off the top of my head, I believe it's Tier Nozzle 14, so Race a Lot 9, Cali and Roast is 7, and it's a 9-7-5-3-2 point system. Alright, just waiting on one. Good luck to you guys. Yeah, no worries, one. Sometimes those things don't update when I think they do. Alright, we're going to turn you guys loose here. Good luck to you. I'm in the front here. Give me a second to pull out of your way. Head over turn here. I'm going to leave that for now, just so I can try and get up in the booth. Haven't tested it. Careful on the start. This is air ball. Temperature, 86-degree track temperature. We have a forecast for heavy cloud cover through much of the race, although it looks like it may clear up at some point. We are getting reports that you might be lagging a little official. We are going to let them, however, take the start and see if it can clear up after the procedure for car lagging is the same as off of broadcast settings. Yeah, he's having technical 5th spot right now. Juan, did you take that self-penalty? I believe he did. He's staying back to let you guys qualifying lap. Yeah, I believe that's what he's doing. He's backing up. So you guys go ahead and move up to 4 and 5. That's going to put the 4th place car run on the side row there. There you go. That's white T right behind him. Just about right. Are green to the finish. I'm going to be heading up into the booth to work on the broadcast. Good luck to you guys. Give us a good show. Good luck.
All right. Looks like it's a pretty good battle.
All right, I'm on board, back on board with you. They got off to a real good start there.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty clean start. We had a little bit of trouble there. It looked like Petrol and Wanda got together there on the start. Kind of blew through the first little loop there. But other than that, it was very clean, and everybody kept hitting like they should have.
Gonna be on board here in the chase cam with Rosta. Yeah, he's got right behind him, less than a second. Gonna catch some draft here through these long sections. It's a long race. This is going to shape out here to be a good show. As I said, Callie and Rosta, I believe, Like I said, they've run the first 2 rounds. They're the most experienced here in these cars. But the sun's going to start coming out, and that's going to change things up a little bit. Most of the guys are on soft tires. They think the soft tires can carry them the whole way. I'm pretty sure the fuel will. They're not going to have to pit for fuel. Some of them might have too much on board. And we no longer show the speedometer, but we can't help but show their fuel on here, and he's got 128 on board. As he's coming here through the S's, and he may have Cali here as we're on board with the chase cam.
Yep, he's making up for it. Down the back straightaway, get into the final turn here, final set of corners.
That's the parabolica right there.
Well, Kelly's fighting back on the outside. This is a hell of a battle for the lead here. Now Rosta's got it. And Rosta's starting to pull away. Looks like he might have a little bit more power down the straightaway than Kelly does.
It's all through. Oh, absolutely! It's all through that last corner. Those of you watching on the broadcast, that's at the southern end there of the course. That is the parabolica turn, and the parabolica is just like any high-speed section of a track. That's the key. Your speed down that whole front stretch is determined by how well you take the parabolica. Whichever one gets off the parabolica better on that lap will be faster down the front stretch and will beat the guy into the chicane. And that time
the inside parabolica there. It looks like that might have got the best run off of the corner as Callie was kind of tiptoeing on the outside.
Yeah, I'd say absolutely right here. Still early going. We'll call it by the numbers that go on the board. It's lap 6 of 37. That includes the 2 pace laps in the beginning. But he's opened up about 1.4, 1.5 seconds at this point. But it's a long way to go. And with only 6 cars in the field, it's just going to take one mistake and somebody's going to be right back on top of you. As Rosta holding on to that lead, going to drop back. See Cali behind him. Got a little bit of a battle going here between Juanma and Petrol. So riding with Juanma in third. Looks like Cali's closing in now. Just a little bit on Rosta. Go back onto my favorite cam, the chase cam, real quick.
As you can see, the people that have ran the most SCL races are kind of up at the front of the field here. Rosta and Kelly battling for the lead. One reform into that 3rd spot. They definitely have the most SCL experience in the field, and it looks like it's going to shine here in this Formula 1 race.
Oh yeah, definitely early on they got off to the standing start about as good. All 3 of those guys have run this series before. They were able to get off to the start necessary to pull themselves ahead. But there's a long way to go. It just takes one little mistake here, and you're going to give 10, 15 seconds back. As right there, Cali's fallen 2.1 seconds behind. We'll jump on board.
Juanma goes off the track and spins it, loops it.
As has Petrol behind him. Petrol lost it going into the S's. He's going to be catching up to Juan here. Those 2, however, have just gapped themselves significantly from the leader. By no means, at this point in the race, insurmountable. He's going to try to settle in. He would have had a chance to take advantage there, but it looks like Petrol had looped it right behind Juanma.
Yep, they both had issues. And that same part, I don't know. Sometimes you know how it is, Carlin. You'll see somebody wrecking in front of you. I think you got it, but you're watching just a little bit too long and you wreck yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm notorious for that. On board here with Runaway Cord, new driver, helped us out in the booth last night at the Camel GT race. Making his debut here. 30 seconds back, obviously had a little trouble already. There he goes. You can see him opening up the DRS right there on his wing, trying to pick up that speed, and by no means is he out of it, because he's only 12 seconds behind Wanma. He's definitely still in contention for a podium finish, and if either one of the top two has serious trouble, you know, he's got a potential of catching up to them. They're by no means out of the weeds. It's still way too early to be counting your gap, as we see.
Slides off just a little bit there, getting into the dirt, sand trap. It's lucky that didn't suck him in.
Yeah, he did a good job of staying off of that. As we'll head to Fresh White Tea, who I believe picked up a couple of three championship points. He finished 4th at the United States Grand Prix at Watkins Glen. Grinded it out. I believe he was a lap or two down. But he's put in a few solid runs here. We've mainly only seen him here. I believe he's run maybe one IndyCar race and a Camel GT race.
I think he ran Trans Am last week too. Not certain about that, but he's starting to get his feet right here in the SCL.
Yeah, he's shown some pace in some of the practices. I mean, I've seen him in the top 5 of the you know, on the speed chart in practice before, so it's just a matter of time. Some of these guys, I think, I could confirm it if I check their speedo, but I'm not going to do that on the broadcast. I don't think they're using the tech package like they should. You definitely want to, you know, there are those knuckleheads who will say why you have that stuff on, but it's because we're not tuning the car. If you were tuning the car, you could dial out some of the things. And the combination of your tech package, your traction control, your ABS, how much and when you apply it is a key part of. At the end of the day, it's no different than having KERS or DRS or any of that stuff, changing your roll bars or brake bias or anything. But it's something to factor in. And as you get used to setting the cars up like that, you'll get quicker and quicker. And I think Fresh White Tea's getting used to that. I'm going to cycle back up front.
Degrees of the text package. I have the ability to look at the speedometer here. There's varying degrees of tech package. Some of them have everything on, some of them have nothing on. So yeah, varying degrees, just kind of to feel how comfortable you feel with the car.
Absolutely, and that's like we've told drivers not used to it. It's just basically it's an element of your setup. We run spec cars, so you're not changing the transmission and the suspension and all that, but you're running the same car. But you know what you decide to do with it, with your tires, with your brake bias, with your whatever the different tech package is on it. You know, that's the way the cars are set up, and it becomes part and parcel of what you got to do when you're working on the ride. As we're watching Callie here running between 2 and 3 seconds behind Rosta.
It doesn't make that big of a difference, looks like, on this car. At this track, with your tech package, because the top two are complete opposite with their assists, and they are, you know, within a stone's throw distance of each other. So it all depends on the way you drive and your style of driving. Some people like it on, some people like it off.
Absolutely. I can tell you, and like I've said before, because I've had to explain it philosophically to people, you know, if we were tuning the cars full out, you know, we would lose the super competitive, super close racing that we get, but, you know, which is why it's not a good thing. But if we were tuning it, then obviously, you know, we would run the tech package into, you know, a realistic manner of what the cars do. But the way that we run it here, you know, these spec cars are very difficult to drive, but, you know, it's the drivers. It's not whether you're good at figuring out the algorithms of a video game's tuning mechanism. It's whether or not you can drive the car. But don't let it fool you. Your wheel setup, your tire pressures, your roll bars, all that stuff is basically a setup. But it's more. But that stuff is more about preference. I've seen it in practice and tech testing. Two of us doing the exact opposite things to the car and running the same lap time. So it has more to do with how you prefer the car to handle. And it's the same thing with the tech package. I tend to run traction control and stuff on cars like this, but it depends on the type of driver you are. If you're a person, if you like the car loose and you hang the car out, you know, you're a Curtis Turner, to turn a phrase, then you're going to suffer when you put the tech package on, because when you slide it out, it's going to cut your power. If you're more of a smooth driver, you know, easy in, fast out, keep the car straight, then when you have your... Yeah, Ned Jarrett. I was just going to say that, actually. Ned Jarrett. If you're more of a Ned Jarrett, then you're not going to ignite the traction control or the stability control. I mean, when I have it on a car, such as one like this, you know, if you look on the telemetry, it never comes on. Only time it comes on is if I get myself into trouble, and that's the key. Because when I get into trouble, I can save the car. When somebody who doesn't have it on gets into serious trouble, sometimes they can't. And that's really what it boils down to. As to whether or not, it just depends on how you drive. If you're more of a Curtis Turner, then you don't want it. If you're more of a Ned Jarrett, you probably can use it, and it's a little bit of a you know, it helps keep the car stable, but it's particularly useful in traffic. And a lot of the guys that
whether you're a calculating driver or a kamikaze driver.
Yeah, and a lot of guys who turn their nose up at using it turn out to be a problem in traffic, particularly on, you know, IndyCar races and whatnot on the super speedway. Got a little bit of separation heading out on the field here. Rosta, I'm going to get him some on-board time here. He's holding about a 4-second lead over Cali, but at 12 of 37 laps, 1/3 distance. I can see his tires building up some heat, but I don't believe they're in any kind of danger. He's on the soft tires compound, as I believe most of them, if not all of them, probably are.
Yeah, they're all on soft compound. Now this deal with the rear wing, I'm not exactly sure what you call it there. That's automatic with the car, right? When you're in the slower parts, it goes down?
No, you actually have to ignite it. The DRS system, drag resistance system, something like that. There's some of our European drivers are going, geez, Carlin, but it's a system where you can manually turn the wing down when you're on the straightaway to give you less downforce and pick up straightaway speed. They also have KERS, which is distinct from the push to pass because it's a kinetic energy resource. Basically, the kinetic energy built up while you're under braking is stored in that box, and then you can use it for a burst like a push to pass. Those two things are on this car, Formula A car, the Formula 1 car, and as you can see, the guys are we'll jump onto the chase cam here so you guys can see it here on our leader.
Looks like most of them are coming on almost automatically. Exact same spot below 40 miles an hour.
It's possible that it's set that way. I'm not I'm not a driver in this series, so I'm not 100% versed on it, but I do know you can press it.
First set of corners, good to get back up, and runs right into Runaway, I believe. Runaway smashed right into him. We had a lot of collision there. As the leaders will be bearing down on this situation very soon.
Who was that just got in the collision?
Fresh white teeth spun out back, and Runaway had nowhere to go but ran right into him.
I can see I'm on board right now here with Runaway Cord, him and Fresh White Tea tangling there. We'll hang with them for a moment as they're the closest on the track. Both of them sliding off here. I'm wondering if they have a tech package on.
Yeah, both of them. They've been having a little bit of trouble with the car.
Yeah, overdriving it through those turns. Got to be easy in, slow in, fast out. They're starting to separate here by about 3 seconds. Looks like Runaway Cord here in his SCL debut got the worst of that incident, helping to spread those cars out. We'll jump back onto our trackside cam here with Fresh White Tea again in the 64 car.
The leader roast is running them both down, so they don't have a lot of room here, and they will be throwing the blue flag, and hopefully they will be able to get out of the way of the leader here, and they're all on the same straightaway now. As looks like Kelly might have had a little off on the track. He's either up to 7 seconds back now on Rosta, so Kelly had a little bit of trouble getting around here. As Rosta's right up on runaway.
Go ahead and get back on board here with Rosta, our leader, pole sitter. Not seeing take a quick look at the timings before he catches up to them. Fastest lap of the race as of right now, 1:31.5 by Rosta. Everyone else in Cali in the 1:32s and everyone else in the 1:33s and beyond. Oh, these guys are going around. Going to get onto my...
That was close for the leader as runaway. He's all over the track in front of him. He had nowhere to go.
Doesn't seem to be suffering.
Sure and just slowing down quite a bit here as he tries to get by this lap traffic.
That's part. Oh, and he made contact right there.
Did not know the leader was coming up on him as he did.
And there goes Cali.
He just must not be happy about that.
No, I can't imagine in that situation. It's part of racing. I'm sure Runaway's good guy. I had a talk with him last night. I know that he knows his racing. I'm sure he was trying to get out of the way and just fighting that car. But definitely cost Rosta the lead. We're still only 16 laps of 37, so plenty of time for him to get back on it. We said he's got the fastest lap of the race, but his pace was falling off. He was a second or two back. I'm thinking maybe the tire wear might be settling in. You got to wonder if somebody's... That's something we saw last night at Texas Motor Speedway road course in the Camel GT race. It looked like nobody took the chance of diving in and making a just for tire stop and running the field down, but it looked like it might have worked when you saw the numbers come out at the end of the race, and I'm kind of wondering the same thing. I'm going to wait till they get back settled here, see what kind of lap times they're running. But definitely...
Rosta and Kelly are the only drivers in the field that are part of major SCL teams, is that correct?
Cali's on a TOW Racing. I don't believe Rosta signed up to anybody.
Rosta's a BSC driver.
When was that?
That happened weeks ago.
I had no idea. Well, we're going to be finalizing all that stuff for next season here pretty soon. So yeah, I believe that's the only two major team representatives out here. I'm looking to get one of my JME drivers to at least one car to field in this series next season. Planning on fielding at least one driver in this series.
I mean, really, it's just a tough time of day for a North American driver to race here.
Oh, we got them getting real close. Going to get onto the chase cam behind Rosta as he's moving right back in on Cali. They're coming up on Fresh.
Yes, barely got around in there. That was probably another hit of reason part of the race there. Especially like 2 calls back in behind the 2 leaders.
Managed to get out of the way, did a good job of that. Oh, there goes Cali fighting that traction a little bit there.
Right now the TOW drivers up front. He's got the BSC there, so running down his back, and they're getting very close to be battling out here. As soon as we get on the front stretch, they might have another run at it like they did last time.
Yeah, we got 5 and 6 very close as well. We're very close. Those guys are fighting their cars though at the moment. This is the best battle on the track for the lead here on lap 17. Rosta trying to set him up. We're going to stay here in the chase cam.
Oh, he had a good run going in the slipstream. Looked like he was going to pull out and make the slingshot pass around him. But he just kind of muffed it there at the end and wasn't able to make it. Let's see if he can get a good run down the straightaway here. Hey, he's almost thinking of putting it. Just had very bad traction coming off. But right now he's getting a hell of a run in the slipstream. down the front straightaway into turn one. Not close enough to make an attempt there.
Yeah, wisely backed off in that situation. Rosta, a very, very smart driver. He has definitely been representing BSE well in this series. Like I said, we were planning on making sure we had a JME representative next season, and we'll build up the Formula One series from there. But small field, but we're getting good racing. These two fighting their way through the chicane there, through the second chicane.
Makes a little off there. Gets the tire off in the grass, and he's going off again. And then there's going to be a change for the lead. Rosta and Kelly's battling back on the outside. They are too wide through the corners. Very close racing here for the lead. Looks like Rosta backed off a little bit, trying not to make contact with Kelly. Kelly moves back out in front, but it's still a very tight race.
We can see them right there coming down the stretch. They're going to be going through the hitch here, and I'm not certain of my corner names as I should be here on the International Tour, but they're going to come out here into the Parabolica, and this is where you're going to see Rosta try to set them up. Callie's going to try to break the draft. They are just about halfway in this race, and Rosta knows that's where it is. It's just like last night in the Camel GT race, coming onto the super speedway on the Texas road course. That was where it needed to be done. Very similar to running Daytona Continental, running Daytona road course, and right there at the Parabolica, here he goes. Rosta's making his move. Nope.
I just don't think he was close enough to get a good run going through that corner onto the front straightaway. I think a little bit of a better run there through that final set of corners. He would have been able to get a good run down Cali. Awesome battle for the lead. Looks like Cali might just be a little bit slower than Rosta at this point of the race, but it's not easy to pass here, and Rosta's not a stupid driver going to push any place that he's going to cause a spin and hurt himself. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's content to sit in second place, but he's not going to make any risky moves either.
Not at this point in the race, with no yellow flags in place. I mean, he knows that this is it as Cali goes a little wide.
That's about the second or third time he's done that in the last couple laps, allowing Rosta to get around him and almost pull off for a second lead over Cali. Tough break for the BMW driver.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like the key here, and Rosta hasn't had to use it, is not so much that you make the run down the Parabolica, but right here is where you got to get the draft so that, you're up close to them heading into the Parabolica, because it's obvious they're not quite getting enough coming through here to get them past the front leading driver into turn one. And as a result, it's been that's why he missed on 2 or 3 shots there. We'll get back onto the chase cam here with Cali and see what he's seeing.
I think he's really starting to struggle with the car. I can't really see what his tire wear is at this point, but it looks like he's just starting to struggle with the car. It's getting late in the run here on the 20th lap of the race. Oh, we got Rosta sliding off through his set of corners there. Kelly takes the lead as Rosta gets very loose, slips and slides off the corner. He's going to try and battle back again. Awesome battle for the lead here at this race.
I believe that
nice when you got a battle for the lead, it's not a runaway.
Absolutely, and I believe that what's going on here, we may not be able to see their tire wear for the sake of gamesmanship, but you can see it on the track. These guys qualified at 131, and they're running 4 seconds off of that now. They were running 2 seconds to 3 seconds off of it even when they were still running clean laps. So I believe tire wear is a factor, and I believe that with 17 laps to go, somebody's thinking about it. Now, hopefully, anyone listening to the broadcast might be thinking about it, but if you have a pit strategy set up where you're diving in and just taking tires, it's looking like they have enough fuel to go the distance in this race. So if you can dive in, get tires in 8-9 seconds here, I mean, that just seems to me like that's going to be the strategy. You're not going to lose much time.
I know these pit crews are really quick in the F1 race, but I'm not sure if they can get in and get out and only lose 9 seconds. That's kind of the catch-22 of making a pit stop to try and get fresh tires and make up some time. Is it takes time to put on fresh tires, and you lose that time once you do. So even if you're a little bit behind, you'd be even further behind making that pit stop, and sometimes it just comes up a little too short. Sometimes, you're able to really capitalize as the person that stays out tires get older and older, and they start to slip and slide more. But it's really, it's a strategy call. Whether you do it or not.
Absolutely. I'm looking at the numbers here. Like I said, Rosta was running. He just had a rough lap. Looking over here in the corner, they're running in the 135s when they're clean. Rosta was running 131s, 132s. There's 16 laps left in the race. If you can get in and out of the pits in 20 seconds.
It's like we have a pit stop at Petrolhead right now. We might be coming in getting fresh tires.
Oh, there we go. He's coming out of the pits now. Hopefully I think he used his pit road speed limiter, and that's going to kill him. I did tell them in the pre-race that there are no pit road speed limits, but I believe Petrol might have not had a button for it, and that's going to hurt him. And here comes Rosta. Rosta heading into the pits. We're going to get onto the trackside cam. I told you some of these guys were thinking about it. They saw the lap times and realized that, they may have to get in. I'm willing to bet that's going to bring Callie in here very, very quickly.
Like there's another pit crew right in front of him ready to change tires. That could be Callie's pit crew.
Not showing us his tire change here, but I guarantee you, yes.
He did change tires.
Absolutely.
Rosta jump in, and Callie might have hit the button getting ready for the pit stop. As Rosta rejoins, lost a little bit of time there, but if Callie pits, can't be right next to her again.
All right, let's get back on board with Callie. You can see where he's at on our map there. Callie up in the upper right corner, coming through the little back section on the east side of the circuit. That's him with the arrow. We'll show where Rosta's at right there, coming through the bend on the north section.
A 25-second gap.
Yeah, about 25 seconds, and we'll have to see how quick Callie can get in and out of the pits. That's going to be the key. I think he is pitting here, though. I just felt that was going to be the strategy. You don't need to take any fuel. I don't believe Rosta took any fuel. No, he didn't. If he did, it was a bare minimal amount. And while we're waiting on that, we've got Wanma closing in on Petrolhead, who made his pit stop. Juan, I don't think Juan has been into the pits yet.
Nope, I think Petrol and Rosta are the only ones that have made a pit stop.
So Juan's catching up with him on the track. Juan just ran a 132.1.
Callie didn't come into the pits that time, and he really messed up through that first little chicane there. Lost a lot of time, almost 5 seconds.
We'll have to see what Rosta's lap time is here as he comes back around. 134.2. He's on cold tires, just getting him up to warmth. But even on cold tires, he just gained. He didn't take any fuel. He just gained a second, even on cold tires. So Callie, the gap was 24 seconds. It's now down to 20, and it is dropping quick. And I can guarantee you that Callie is looking at that. Meanwhile, Juan here trying to close in. Going to go ahead and jump on the chase cam with Juan. He's a little. Probably a smart move there. If you're fighting with the car, go ahead and get a fresh set on him. Juanma about 3 seconds behind Petrol, but Juan running pretty fast considering he has not been in the pits as of yet, I don't believe. As a matter of fact, looking at his tires, I don't think he has, and he just ran another 132. He's just getting Juan. What he's showing right now is that he has managed his tires well because he's getting quicker on the lighter fuel load. Unlike the front two cars, which was Callie and Rosta, who just continued to lose time. They were obviously burning the tires up.
Callie might be trying to stay out. You think he's last 10 or so laps here on what he's got.
Yeah, he's
with a 19-second lead, as long as he doesn't make a huge mistake, might be the way to go.
We'll have to see. He might be gambling on that, knowing he's not quite as fast as Rosta out on the track, but you can see the numbers right now. He's got 14 laps to go. In the last 2 laps, he's lost 6 seconds. I think
But
it's
I think it might be a little bit late. You know, if he came in and put now, he'll probably be behind Roast and not being able to make up. So he's kind of made his bed and has the line at this point.
yeah, it's possible. Keep the pressure on. I've often used the strategy in road racing of, you know, if you're not sure about your pace, make the other guy chase you, because you can kind of make him press and make mistakes. And that's what he's hoping for, but he's got to see that time just chopping down on him here. As, you know.
Like the 3 seconds in that, but Roast is off the track, slides into the gravel a little bit, and gets it going again there up at the top of the track. So he just, like you said, might have been pushing it, trying to catch up to Callie, and has lost a little bit of time out on the track. Back to almost 18 seconds, 17 and a half.
All right, take a look at Petrolhead here quietly in third place. 55 seconds off the lead, but for a driver with as little SCL experience as he's had, he's looked solid here today. Made the pit stop at, I think, the perfect time. He's been running clean laps. He's got a lot more fuel than the rest of the field. And despite that, which is obviously just a calculation by his pit crew, miscalculation, I should say, he just completed a 133.2 lap. That's not a bad lap time. We'll check out the interface of the timings here. Rosta posted the best lap coming out of the pits here at a 130.9, but Petrolhead, you know, 133.2. His last lap was his best.
Rosta ran very, very close to what Rosta ran that last lap. Even with the more fuel, he is gaining experience, and he might not have practiced as much as Rosta, but as with any race, the more laps you do, the more time you have on the track and in the car, you get better at it.
Yeah, we'll get back into the chase cam here with Petrol as he's coming up on Runaway Cord in 5th place to put him another lap down. Petrol does have to do some defending. He's 11 seconds ahead of Wanma. I believe Wanma's starting to feel the tires, though. He did close in there for a moment. But taking a look at Wan's passing Fresh right now on the front stretch. Get onto the trackside cam here. Makes the pass. Let's see if Fresh stays off of him going into the hairpin or into the bumps. He does. Wanma wisely gives the position back. Wanma has not showed a tremendous amount of pace in some of these races, but he has definitely shown the ability to follow instructions, knows what he's doing. I think he's got a tremendous upside. As you can see on the timings here, he ran a 132.1 in this race. I mean, that is a very competitive time. Consistency's not there, as you can see by that little shunt. But
he's like a lot of drivers that come into the league, I think, a little over-ambitious at the start. He knows he's quick. Might try and push a little bit harder, but really, once you get races and seasons under your belt here in the SCL, you realize that it's not always the smartest thing to try and make every move that comes with you. I think I've raced a little bit. Last week at Watkins Glen, I raced back there, cup cars with one man. I noticed he was making some risky moves. Probably shouldn't have been made at those times, but he's learning. Every time he gets out on the track, he learns what moves he can make, what moves he can't make, and even in the SCL, just makes you a more rounded driver like that. Looks like he could have a battle for the lead before this thing's over with. He's only 10-second there. The rest is looking up a lot of time like that.
And we're on board here with Wanma as he's going by Fresh White Tea here again on the front stretch. As I said, yeah, the good thing about Wanma to close that book, he's willing to learn. He comes in, he asks questions. He's always sending me questions. He's a guy who wants to be, an SCL regular. Absolutely, and that's, you give them a few seasons, and guys that are lapping them now are going to be surprised by what they get out of that. But you're right up here at the front. Rosta's just back on trackside with Rosta as he is now within 8 seconds, and with 11 laps to go, those numbers are telling. As you said, Callie's bet is made. I think he waited too long, even if he pitted now. I think Rosta now realizes that he's just chopping away at him. He saw that last lap was a 130.3s.
That last set of corners there, got up on the banks again, he's off into the gravel trap once again, trying to keep hold of it. I think his tires are pretty much gone now for Cali. As Roast is running him down, and I think we will see a battle for.
We're going to see him right there. There he is. Right there. We just saw him come into the frame. Let's see if we can see him just coming in at the back of the frame. Not quite yet, but he is going to close in. And yeah, this is where the strategy call hasn't gone well here for Cali. And
I think once he gets there, it's not going to be much of a battle.
Yeah, Cali knows his goose is cooked. Yeah, Cali knows his goose is cooked here. You talk about a driver that we've been picking who's going to win somewhere at some point. Now Cali comes into the pits, but I believe it's going to be too little too late. He's going to go ahead and do this. Let's see how quick he can get in and out here. Oh, he missed his pit stall, and that's not going to help. That cost him a couple seconds, but just a quick stop. Throwing on the tires. Taking on no fuel. And he's out. We'll see how far back. He's 11 seconds back. Now that is not going to be undoable, particularly if Rosta has any kind of trouble. But he definitely waited too long. Probably was the smart thing to just go ahead and do it. At least he knows he has a car now. He might be able to get a little bit of a tire advantage. I mean, I don't know that Rosta's been out long enough. He's only been out for about 7 or 8 laps. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. If that's going to tell, it's going to tell within the next 5 laps or so. Like, ooh, as Cali bounces over the curb.
Went airborne there. He was looked like a motocross up in the sky.
Yeah, he was hanging on to that one. Yeah, those cold tires. He's just getting those tires going. And meanwhile, Rosta's out here up front as we go back with Rosta. He's coming down the back section, getting ready to head into the Parabolica, and knows he's got this race well in hand. Cali made a strategy call that wasn't the right one, but was definitely one of the picks here. I think if he was on maybe a different set of tires, it might have made a difference. I don't know, but Rosta had the right call. I think he saw petrol come in, saw that lap time come down, and went, now's the time. But he saw, once you see those numbers jumping more than a few seconds, you got to start thinking about it. And I think Rosta made the perfect call. We got a battle for position back here on the track. I'm going to go ahead and get into the chase cam as Fresh White Tea is a couple seconds behind Runaway Cord for a top 5 spot and a championship point on the line there. Those of you not familiar, the International Tour scoring system running on a Grand Prix style. It's 9 points for the win, 7 points for second, 5 points for third, 3 points for fourth, 2 points for fifth, and then any other car that finishes the race scores 1 point. And he's going to try to make a run at him. You're on board with Fresh White Tea, the 4th place finisher last round at Watkins Glen. And they're a couple laps down, but he is going to be trying to get into that top 5. I'm all for. It'll depend on who takes the series directorship in this series. I am all for running one of the classic circuits or without the chicanes. Make it more of a high-speed track. We went with the Grand Prix circuit this season. Off-season testing will decide what layout we come back to next season for the Italian Grand Prix. I'm a big fan of using the high-speed or the classic layout, but we'll have to see about that. It was a little bumpy in tech testing this off-season. But these two are definitely going to be going at it for 5th place here shortly. But as we're on board with Fresh White Tea and seeing if he can make a pass. You just got to ask, you got to beg the question, what could have been here? Callie, definitely needed to pit when he saw Rosta head into the pits, I think.
I think he probably needed to at that point, but like you say, with Rosta being a little bit quicker than Callie, and Callie kind of knew that he might not have been as fast on the day. Kind of did what he had to do there by staying out, but then he threw it all the way by coming in. Callie's been hard to pass here, but it gets harder and harder to do on old tires, so it might have worked out for him. He might have been able to hold him off for a couple laps, but probably not as far as it comes here. It looks like Rosta's getting into a lot of laps happening here.
Yeah, Rosta's going to be catching up. We go on board. Yeah, Fresh just got by Runaway Cord for 5th place. Those two, I'm going to get back on board with Runaway Cord as he's trying to catch Fresh and take that. That's our best battle on the track. But yeah, Callie right now is just managing his spot. He knows Callie finishes where he is. He'll have 14 championship points in the last round, same as Tiernizzle. Rosta, I believe, also had 7 coming in. So I believe he'll take the championship lead with 16. So we're going to have 16, 14, 14. Callie knows he just has to. Yeah, Juan McGuire goes by. Yeah, Callie has to. Callie knows he's got to manage that 2nd place finish, and he's going to be right there. I mean, if this finishes where it stands with Rosta and Callie 1-2, there's going to be 3 cars 2 points apart heading into the final round, and I believe 4, possibly 5 cars with a shot at winning the championship in the final race. So, that's going to make the British Grand Prix at Silverstone that much bigger of a deal. As there goes, somebody got Wanma putting it into the fence here, but he's basically running on a lap alone.
As leader of Rosta tries to get around Runaway here, Wanma, that all happened right in front of him. Very lucky to get through that unscathed.
Wanma hits the pits.
Runaway gave the leader a little bit of a bump there going into the pits of chicanes. That Rosta hold on to it. Yeah, looks like Wanma's making his pit stop. And getting back to it.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time.
Pretty secure in that 4th position.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's
really impressed with Petrol being only, under a minute back from these leaders who have a lot of experience here in the league and really, really fast. Petrol's making awesome lap times for, like you said, how much fuel is in that car and his lack of experience here on the Grand Prix circuit.
Oh, absolutely. Rosta and Callie we knew would be up there. Those guys have been running well in this series and across the league really all season in season 22. But Petrolhead here, really, I gotta give him the drive of the race. He's had the drive of the race. He came out of nowhere. He's been very, very smooth. As you can tell, his strategy is not.
There's a little bit of a run. Callie came up behind Runaway, and I believe they might have touched tires. Runaway almost flipped over and going under that chicane on the back straight and just barely held on to it. I think they might have touched tires. He was been going airborne like that as Runaway did.
Yeah, guys having trouble there with the blue flags, obviously. But as we're down to inside 5 to go, as I was saying, Petrolhead, you can see his strategy's wrong. He's got too much fuel on board, but he pitted at just the right time. He's been very, very smooth. He's run very, very consistent lap times. And he's going to come out of here, barring disaster, with 5 championship points. And, he's going to be set up in a position that regardless of what happens at Silverstone, he's going to be in a position where he has provisional points heading in the next season, just based off of this one race. So he's served himself well. Back up front, meanwhile, Callie his tire advantage, as I predicted, starting to show right now. I believe you can see he gained 0.7 of a second on that last lap. Just not enough time, I believe, unless Rosta is through the traffic now. As you can see, we're going to give you a rundown. Take a look at the map as we go to the trackside there. Coming through the Parabolica is Rosta. He's the arrow at the southern end of the circuit there on your screen. There's a lap car between them. And then Callie's coming down. He'll be taking the Parabolica 14 seconds back. He's running quicker on the track as of right now. His tires are in better shape, but he pitted way too late. Nonetheless, I thought he's run a terrific race. Him and Rosta have been the class of the field, but it was all about the strategy there. Rosta was quicker at a certain time. I believe that Rosta was quick at the right time when he came out of the pits and had low fuel and got those tires warmed up. But now Rosta's starting to put it back down. He just put up a 1:31.7. Callie's still a little quicker, but nowhere near in the neighborhood of making up a 14-second gap in 4 laps. Let's go ahead and give a cockpit view here in the Formula One car here as Rosta got these cars spread out a bit on the track. We're going to let Rosta take us around. We'll go turn the interface off and let you guys just ride along with him here. See if maybe we can see him push the DRS. No. I'm sure it's igniting though. Underneath the famous media stand there. And yeah, I would love to run this circuit without the first chicane here. Send them into that first turn full throttle. That's the circuit layout we ran in the GT6 days of the league.
Looks like Kelly's getting caught up a little bit behind lap traffic. Fresh white tee. Try to put the bumper to him. Oh, and they make contact through that first chicane. The fresh white tee is definitely not giving any room to the lead cars here. And that could be an issue. I'm not saying it's going to cost Kelly the race, as he was already pretty far behind, but it's costing him a lot of time out on the track trying to get by him. He has not made it by him yet.
Yeah, fresh white tee just fighting to hang on to that car, I believe. Ooh, Callie jumps it. Starting to press a little hard there. It's not going to cost him in position, but I'm sure he's a little hot about that. I don't think fresh white tee's trying to block him as much as he's just trying to hang on to his car as best he can. And he's got a fairly secure gap here of 20 seconds to hang on to 5th place and his 2 championship points. But before we go on board with our leader for his what looks like it's going to be his victory lap, we'll do another run through the field. Looks like a runaway cord heading off there on the east end. But in his debut, he's come out here and grinded it out. All 6 of the guys who took the green flag are going to finish this race. Take a look back at Wanma, as we said, securely in 4th place. But here's been the story. Rosta up here at the front when he's got about a lap and a half to go.
Glides off the track, spinning around, not getting control of it, having a lot of trouble back there. Fresh white tee's probably just waiting to see the checkered flag. And it's going to be a relief for him. He's really having trouble getting around here. Not as much trouble as runaway cord, but fresh white tee definitely just trying to hang on to it here at the end.
These guys' tires are probably feeling it again already. Definitely stopping for tires is what they had to do, as it's onto the white flag lap here. Rosta 1 lap away from his first career SCL points victory, first career win in the Formula One World Championship. Came home 4th back in the Winston Cup Series at the Daytona 500, and we knew we had a good driver on our hands, and looks like he's going to bring home BSE's second win in the Formula One World Championship this season. And put himself...
He did an awesome job. I think he probably had the fastest car, but the strategy definitely helped out and secured him this victory. If he can make it back around here, it's going to be a good race.
Yeah, he's had a terrific performance. He came out, took the pole from Cali at the last minute. You knew these two were going to be the top 2 contenders here, and Rosta made the right strategy call. I do think Cali head-to-head had enough speed to race him. Rosta was putting up faster lap times on his own, but as long as they were right there together, I think that it was anybody's race. But Rosta made the right call.
Definitely, they're pushing hard. They race really well all race, and they put on a hell of a show here for the fans.
And here he comes. Rosta going to weave back and forth as he gets it. Rosta will win his first career SCL race. He is your Italian Grand Prix champion. Because we're gonna.
He did a hell of a job here. I'm a very proud car owner as he pulls off the victory here at Formula One.
As here comes Cali bringing it home in second. Rosta with that win will take the championship lead. Cali's going to jump up to be a tie for second. He's going to be right there heading into Silverstone for the championship. Now on board with Petrolhead's going to pick up 5 championship points with a 3rd place finish. As he's running it around here, just like I said, can't say enough for the guy. Hopefully we'll get him into the post-race show. He's done a fantastic job in this race. I've been really impressed with him. He and Runaway are the last 2 cars running on the track right now, but Petrol just doing a fine job. I think, guys, I think the key here, right there in that back section heading into the Parabolica. He who was good there was fast here, but it really was who kept it on the track. The guys who had trouble, they were the ones going off track. I think Cali went off a couple too many times. But there it is. There's your finish, ladies and gentlemen. Rosta getting his first career SCL points victory. He is your Italian Grand Prix champion. It's Cali Vitals coming in second. Petrol had a spectacular 3rd place finish. Wanma coming in 4th. Fresh White Tea in 5th. And Runaway Cord finishing in 6th place with 1 championship point. All right, you guys stand by with us here for a few moments. Going to take a screenshot here of the finish.
Yep, very awesome job here. Again, I'm proud of my driver. Rosa coming out, pulling off the victory. Looks like he probably had the fastest car, but pit strategy really secured him that victory. A 22nd victory over TOW Cali Vital. Again, awesome race here. Wish we could have had some more drivers, but obviously at the final race here and probably next season we're going to have quite a few more drivers show up every week. Going to make it even more competitive here for the Formula One Series. I'm going to cut out a little bit here and go try and get ready, get my Winston Cup car all ready to roll here. But again, awesome race here, Formula One. You'll hear your post-race interview with podium finishers, and so Johnny Benson, I'm going to cut out. Great racing, guys, and we'll see you later this afternoon.
All right, Johnny's going to go get ready for the Winston Cup race. Going to get our drivers in here. Fresh White Tea and Runaway Cord is our last 2. All right, guys, go ahead and do me a solid. Here in this room for the broadcast, you need to go into your party settings and crank your mic all the way up, but then mute it until I'm asking you a question or anything like that. But it's got to be full. I can hear you just fine, yeah. You got to be full blasto on the broadcast. Let me see, who are we missing out of the 6? Petrol Head. Let's see if we can get Petrol in here, because he definitely deserves to get some airtime. He had a terrific race. I think. Alright. I want to use not on my friends list. I'm not sure who it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just hang tight with me. Those of you watching at home, hang tight. We're going to get to the post-race show here momentarily. All right. One more thing, guys. Make sure you go into your party settings as well. Besides cranking it, make sure that you put son of a bitch. Make sure you put allow your voice to be shared. Put it to always allow. I think I might have screwed that up, but so yeah, make sure that your microphone is cranked and that you're on always allow. I think I might have had mine off for a while there, but what the hey, we're still going to do the post race for you guys. You guys are in a hell of a show. So make sure your mic is cranked. Make sure your allow voice to be shared is on always allow. Go ahead and mute it until I'm talking to you, and we'll get to the post race show here for our viewers momentarily. All right, we're back here, folks. Carlin Hicks here in the post-race for the Italian Grand Prix. If any of you got any questions, we got the chat feed up here on the broadcast. You can shoot one to us. But anyway, looking at the board and your final standings in today's Italian Grand Prix, Rosta taking the win from the pole. Got his first career pole and win here at Monza. Rosta for Benson Speed Equipment. Cali Vitales for TOW Racing coming home in second. Petrol Head, who had a fantastic run to fight his way to third. Wanma steady fourth place. Fresh White Tea in fifth, and Runaway Cord in sixth. According to our unofficial calculations, that's going to put Rosta into the points lead with 16 heading into the final event next weekend at Silverstone. Cali and Tiernizzle are tied for second at 14, so it's really up for grabs for anybody going to that final race. But first one we're going to chat with here is our winner, Rosta. Rosta took the pole, I believe, on the last or next to last qualifying lap. Went out and had a great race. took the race's fastest lap, seemed to have the best pace on your own, but Callie was keeping up, but it just appeared to be the pit call. We were talking about it before you guys dove in. We were saying that it looks like somebody's going to time it and come in and pit for tires, and you made the call to come in shortly after Petrolhead did, and then Callie Vitals decided to stay out, and it looked like that was the wrong call, but tell us how the race went from your perspective there, Rosta. Good job.
It's a really awesome race. Those cars were amazing, and I'd like to thank you guys for the opportunity to do it, because that was great. But it was real sensitive when when the tires were good. It would go, but if you touched the DRS or anything, when the tires started to fade, it really got dicey. So I decided to pit. It was like, I thought it was going to be early, but I figured it's a little over halfway. So we'll just give it a shot and get on fresh tires and give it, really go for it. And yeah, it just seemed to work. But that was a really awesome race. I'm still pretty excited about it. That was good.
Yeah, it was a great job. Like we said, you guys looked like you had it looked like running on your own that Rosta had the slightly quickest car. Callie was every bit up to it though in traffic, and I think that both of you were about equal in terms of the number of times you had a little shunt off or hit the grass or whatever, but the difference was that pit stop. I think that we saw the lap time starting to fall. We're looking at the number. I'm doing the calculations in my head, and I'm thinking to myself, somebody's going to dive in and take that gamble. And Petrolhead, I believe, was the first one. Rosta went not long after that, and we thought in the booth, Callie's going to be right behind him. And Callie rolled the dice there. It wasn't a bad call because it could have paid off. I've won races before many times by rolling out there and hanging on while we're not making a pit stop, but in this particular case it didn't quite work out. But we'll get to Callie in a second, but we just want to say congratulations, Rosta. Your first career points win comes in the Formula One Series.
That was good racing with Callie there. That was when we were side by side, definitely he just had the stronger car or getting the wind behind him, and I could barely hold on to it.
Yeah, it was a great performance, guys. And give a little word from Callie. Callie coming in second, staying very close in the championship. But I know he's going to feel like this one might have got away from you, huh, Callie?
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure how the tire wear would be here. And first I was thinking maybe I could stretch it to the end on no pit stops. But once we got through 10 laps, I was like, this tire wear is ridiculous. And then I wasn't sure who was going to pit first, and I think it was about lap 18 or 19 when Petrol came in. And it was like a lap or two after, and Rosta came in, and I was thinking, tires went bad pretty quick. I'm going to try to stay out a little bit longer. I think I stayed out 3 or 4 laps too late.
Yeah, it was like I said. It's not the wrong call. I always tell my drivers on my team, there's multiple options. You're going to make a call, and if circumstances line up right, you're a genius. And if they don't line up right, you're an idiot. I tell this story to a lot of the rookies. My first Winston Cup win was in the Brickyard 400, one of our biggest races, and that was back in season 15. And that whole, that was my 4th season in the league. I was just starting to get to where I had, winning pace, where I could actually compete to win races. And that race in particular was a great one because, make a long story short, it was very hard to pass at Indianapolis, especially with the quality of our field. And I had fought all race to get up. It was green flag most of the race. I had spent about 50 laps to get up from 7th to 3rd. And we had a caution that came out with 39 laps remaining. And over on the GT6, running in those cars on the Indianapolis, you could get normally about 14, 15 laps on a set of tires. It wasn't very much. So with 39 laps to go, everybody knows it's 2 stops to the finish. And that's what I'm planning on doing. Well, when I went into the pits, I got a bad pit stop. My pit crew sucked. I came out in 7th place. All that work I had just done went out the window. And so at that point, I decided I'm going to try it. And I stretched it and held on to win that race. And so you're not wrong by any means, Callie. You made the call that on a different track, on a different day, might have been brilliant. But it definitely made a great show for us to see the two of you go on a different strategy like that. But because it definitely built the drama up. But at the end of the day, it would have been interesting to see what happened if the two of you had come in at the same time or a lap apart, because I think you would have been neck and neck all the way to the finish. But another good finish. It's going to come down to Silverstone, as you guys are all right there. I'll speak for our podium finisher, Petrolhead, since he's not here. He had a fuel problem. He had far too much fuel on board. I would say he had 50 liters more than you guys for much of the race. So he was the real hidden invisible star of this one, because he was very, very consistent. That best lap time of his of 1:33, that was pretty much what he was running the whole race. It's interesting to note what he might have been able to do had he had the right pit strategy. But got to give a shout to as well our cars that ran it out: Wanma, Fresh White Tea, Runaway Cord. You all picking up championship points. Cord made his debut here tonight or today in this race. You got anything to add there about your day, Cord?
Not much. At the end, I was running low on tires and stuff.
Yeah, we're losing your mic, is going in and out on us, but I think I'll speak for everybody to say, hey, it's your first race, car you've never driven before. Hell of a job to run it out. You picked up a championship point. That alone may end up being enough to get you a provisional heading into next season. So, good job. Fresh White Tea, another top 5. Second race in a row. Good job for you. And Juan, we talked about you quite a bit in the broadcast. You did a heck of a job. As we can see, you had a very quick best lap, and I think he might have missed on the strategy when to pit quite slightly, but Juan did a good job fighting up there, picked up 3 championship points out of it. If your mic's going, you got anything to add, Juan? No, I don't think his mic is up to it. But anywho, that's just about going to wrap it up here from the SCL Racing Network. We're going to be going online with the Winston Cup qualifying. I got to jump on a jet and fly back to Texas. And that's going to be opening up here in about the next 20 minutes. That'll be open for 2 hours. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern, we've got tonight's Winston Cup Series race, the SCL Hall of Fame 400. Hopefully we'll see some of you guys out there for that. And for all our drivers, once again, congratulations to our SCL 22 Italian Grand Prix champion, Rosta. For all the drivers, for Johnny Benson, this is Carlin Hicks, and we're going to be signing off. Have a good day. We'll see you at the Cup cars here in just a